Hello, and welcome to Bedtime Bible Stories by FBC. The last time we were together, we talked about Joseph. And I asked you a question. Why did Joseph cry when he saw his brothers? I'll give you time to think about your answer. You are correct. He had compassion for his brother and he missed them. Tonight's story, we are talking about Samson and Delilah. Let's begin. When the Philistines ruled the land of Israel, there lived a man and his wife who had no children. One day an angel came to the woman and told her she would have a son. And, said the angel, that son would be a Nazarite. A Nazarite was one who made a promise that for a certain period of time he would devote himself to God. During that time, a Nazarite neither cut his hair nor drank any kind of wine. The child was born and named Samson. He grew up not only a Nazarite, but one of the strongest men in all of Israel. Once a lion attacked him. Samson killed the beast with only his bare hands. But Samson fell in love with a girl of the Philistines. Against his parents' wishes, he went to a town called Timnah to marry her. On the way, Samson passed the palace where he had killed the lion. A swarm of honeybees were in the lion's skin, and Samson took some of the honey to nourish himself as he went. The wedding at Timnah lasted a week. Samson put a riddle to 30 of the youngest male guests. If you can answer the riddle in 7 days, I will give each man fine linen cloth. If no one can answer, then each must give me such cloth. The young men agreed. This then is the riddle, said Samson. Out of the eater came forth something to eat. Out of the strong came something sweet. The answer was the honey in the lion's skin, but no one guessed it. The men asked Samson's wife for help. She begged Samson to tell her, and when he did, she told them. On the last day, the men faced Samson. It was the honey in the skin of the lion you killed. Samson was very angry. He left his wife and returned to his father's house. Later, when his anger lessened, Samson went back for his wife. But her father would not let Samson see her. Samson was furious. He burned down all the cornfield of the Philistines. When the Philistines learned this, they burned the house of Samson's father-in-law, killing the old man and Samson's wife. The evil went on and on. Samson killed many of the wicked Philistines until he had to flee far away and live in a cave. Samson caused so much trouble that the fearful men of Judah came to the cave to hand him over to the Philistines' lords. I only did them as they had done to me, Samson told the men, but they tied him with ropes and led him away. But God's power was still with Samson. He broke his ropes, and with the jawbone of an ass as his only weapon, he destroyed many of the Philistines. Then he escaped to Gaza. There the people again tried to capture him. They waited until morning to seize him. But Samson stayed there only until midnight. He left, taking the very gates of the city with him. Later, Samson fell in love with Delilah, another Philistine woman. The Philistines used her to capture Samson. Find out what makes this Israelite so strong, and we'll pay you very well, they said. Delilah worked hard to get Samson to tell his secret of his strength, but he would not reveal the truth. "You do love me, or you would tell me," she challenged him. She kept after him until Samson gave in. "I'm a Nazarite. I am dedicated to God. My hair has never been cut, and there lies my strength. If it is cut, I will be as weak as any other man." Delilah told the Philistines she had learned Samson's secret. They gave her the money they had promised her. That night, Samson slept. Delilah brought in a man to cut Samson's hair. She told Samson that he had lost his strength, but he didn't believe her. When he felt his hair, Samson knew it was true. The Philistines came for him, binding him and forcing him to work like a beast in their grinding mill. But God was with Samson, and his hair began to grow. The Philistines worshiped a cruel idol called Dagon. They held out a great feast in honor of Dagon and brought Samson, blind and tied, to their temple. Samson was placed between the giant pillars that supported the temple. The crowds of Philistines mocked and tormented him. He suffered greatly, but he didn't forget his dedication to God. He prayed for strength to crush the idol-worshiping Philistine. He knew that he too would die, but Samson was ready to sacrifice himself for his God and his people. Samson put his mighty arms around the pillar and pushed with all his strength. The temple came crushing down on the Philistine and on Samson, crushing them all. The Philistines were destroyed. Israel was free. Now, I have a question to ask you about this story. What was the name of the woman that cut Samson's hair? I'll give you a chance to think about it. And I'll see you next time. Have a good night.